Hello, Quantum Leap callers. Happy Thursday to you. Super excited to leave you a message today. This is Krystal Downey-Shada. And my message for you today is about systems and how systems can support you and how you can support yourself in successfully working your business. There are a lot of things that I have not done well or right in my business. I'm just going to tell you that. So if you look at how you do your business and think, ugh, there's no hope, or I don't know if I am as effective or as adequate as I would like to be or could be, or all of the stories that we can tell ourselves about what we're not. I'm just going to tell you, there's a lot of things that I have not done well or right in my Mary Kay business, meaning there are areas that I'm not particularly gifted. So I say that to give you some hope that part of the success that I've had has been related to figuring out how to work well and consistently in my strengths. And one of my strengths is systems. And so I'm going to just share with you a little bit about the systems and how that has supported me. So, of course, yes, I work, and I've worked disciplined and consistently even when I didn't feel like it. So that's one place that we can practice and strengthen that muscle and work that muscle to be better at it, to elevate ourselves and to elevate our performance. It's practicing consistency and with discipline, even in the places we don't feel like it. How can we shift our thought process so we enjoy it more? Because that's an inside job for us. And systems are a place that I find that I really work well. And what I mean by that are systems about how I do things. So I get a system in place. I have it in my calendar so that I don't have to engage my brain to remember things. And I have systems that work. And then when I find that things fall through the cracks, because that happens sometimes, like, ooh, I forgot to call that person, or, oh, I needed to do some follow-up over here and I didn't, or this or that. That is an indicator for me that I don't have a system for that so that it doesn't fall through the cracks. And that lets me know I need to create a system. So then I create a system. And my system is all around my calendar, meaning my calendar runs my life. Now, I set up my calendar. So if you're like, oh, I don't want my calendar to run my life. Well, you set up the calendar. So you're the one that decides what goes on that calendar, right? And there's freedom in that. There's freedom in the discipline of that, because then I don't have to think about or try and remember or, ooh, I got to think about this, or, oh, I got to remember to do that. It's in my calendar. There's a system for it. I'm supported by my calendar, so I don't have to remember things. So a few of the systems that I have in place that may support you are my customer support system. So, of course, I do preferred customer program, and that goes in my calendar, so I don't have to think about it. It's already in there. Oh, yeah, got to do that today because that is right. So I have reminders about that. So my customer system, how do I process a new customer? Well, she goes into my customers. It goes into, the Mary Kay in Touch, so there's a place that she is digitally represented there. I schedule the follow-up in my calendar, so I know to do the follow-up. That is especially important now with clinical solutions. It's always been important, but now it's critical. So the follow-up is there with each of my clinical solutions. I've got a follow-up system in place in my calendar, so I know when to check back in with my clinical solutions people. And then as I'm working through with my customers and I notice things fall through the cracks, if things do, then I create a system around that to support that. I also have a new team member system. So when a new person comes on my team, I make sure she gets into our Voxer group. I make sure she gets into our Facebook group. So do you do that with your personal team members? What responsibility do you take in that system with your new team member? Do you make sure she gets on your Zoom meetings? That she's engaged in new products. You don't have to be, sometimes people are like, well, I'm not a leader. I don't know how to do that. You just bring her alongside you to do what you're doing. That's it. It's pretty simple. It's not difficult. And in fact, you will become a better consultant for it because your systems will get better when you're teaching it to someone else. you will learn faster in that process as well. So a new team system, a new customer system. I also have a skincare class system, so now we send out packets of samples. So I know that when I have a party on this day, then I know to back up at least a week to 10 days prior to that is when I need to send out the packets, which means then a few days before that, I need to be following up with the hostess to make sure that she's gotten all of that information so I can send those samples. Those are the kind of systems that I'm talking about. So when you think about it, what are the systems you need to have in place to support you? You know, I always find it fascinating when we get to fall and the kids are going back to school and all of the moms that are freaking out because I've got all of this to do because the kids are going back to school. Well, it happens every year. So since it happens every year, what system can I set up to support myself with that? So the beginning of August, what are the things that I can do to be preparing, right, that I can just put in my calendar in the beginning of August? We need to get the kids physicals. We need to, because if they're in sports, you know, whatever's required around that. We need to get school supplies. I may not have a school supply list, but I can start looking for that list so that I can schedule when to get it. You need to be thinking about some clothes for the kids, right? Because they're growing and, you know, they need to wear long pants now and they don't fit them from last year. All of those things. So you can not be spinning out of control at the last minute, freaking out about the kids going back to school, about Christmas or the holidays or whatever happens that freaks out at that time, about taxes. You just schedule it. And then when that time comes, I'm going to manage it at that time and handle it because I've got an adequate amount of time held out to handle that. So for me, I don't have to freak out about taxes because I'm doing those on Friday. My appointment for taxes is next week. So I'll be done, ready to go. There's no like, I got to do this because it's scheduled. So there is this freedom in scheduling and then the discipline. There's freedom in the discipline of following that schedule. So I hope some of these tools support you. And systems are always up for refinement. So now that everything is moved to virtual and probably will be virtual for a little while, I'm redoing some of my systems. I've been in the process of it, but now I'm really hammering out some of those details of that. So do you have your system set up for how you manage and navigate things? And are you open to refining it? Doesn't mean you have to throw it all away and start over, but refining the system to better support you as changes come about, because changes will come about. That's my message for you today. Happy system making. It is in support of the reducing of crazy in your life, I promise. All right. Hugs to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.